So, I came across this interesting take from an XRP chart analyst who believes the selling pressure has just about dried up. Fingers crossed that proves to be true, because yeah, it would be pretty great to see things finally push back upward. Either way, I'm confident we'll get there in the end. Now, here's the thing I'm noticing from a bunch of different chart watchers. There's still a lot of uncertainty in the very near term. Basically, analysts are split. Some think we've already hit the bottom and can finally start moving up again, while others believe there might be just a bit more downside to come before the real rally kicks off. The encouraging part, though, is this. No matter where we are in the short term, the overwhelming agreement from the analysts I track is that this bull cycle is definitely not finished. In fact, many believe we're incredibly close to the final euphoric surge. You know, that explosive, parabolic phase at the end of a bull run. Based on the typical signs and patterns you'd expect leading up to that kind of move, it seems like we're almost there. That's the general consensus I'm hearing across the board, at least from the folks I follow. Now, before I continue, I want to make one thing absolutely clear. I don't have a background in finance. I'm not a financial advisor. And nothing I say should ever be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell anything. I'm just a crypto enthusiast who enjoys making content about the space purely for fun and as a personal hobby. Alright, as I'm recording this, it's 4:17 p.m. Central Time on. Let me check real quick because the days just blur together. Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. XRP is currently priced at $2.94. While Bitcoin is sitting at $113,736, XRP has pulled back a bit from its 24-hour high of $3.10, but it's possible we've already hit that local bottom. I'll dive into that a little more in a moment. Alright, before we go any further, I want to share something with you real quick. This is a post from none other than Willy Woo, one of the most well-known chart analysts in the crypto space. The guy's been around forever. And for the most part, he knows his stuff. Now, I'll be honest. He does lean heavily into the whole Bitcoin maximalist mindset, which personally rubs me the wrong way a bit. But when it comes to his technical analysis, he's usually pretty sharp. Anyway, he recently shared a post that I think might help settle your nerves a bit after the rocky week we've had. His words were, in case anyone needs intestinal fortitude after the past week. And then he included a chart that should actually bring some reassurance. It lines up with the broader theme I've been repeating here on this channel. There are still strong signals suggesting the best is ahead of us. We're not in panic mode yet, not even close. Trust me, when those red flags start popping up, and eventually they will, I'll be the first to sound the alarm here. I'll let you know loud and clear. Hey guys, we're at or near the top. That kind of shift changes everything. How we look at the market, how we react emotionally, and what decisions we might make. But again, we're not there right now. So here's what Wu shared. It was a chart originally posted by Bitcoin Vector, titled Bitcoin Risk Off Signal plus Risk Oscillator. And the key takeaway was this. As long as risk signals remain stable, drawdowns are opportunities, not threats. The last corrections have not triggered a high-risk regime. Today's environment still favors buying the dip, not fearing a trend reversal. That sentiment is exactly what I keep hearing over and over from the analysts I trust and I follow. A lot of them. At this moment, I honestly can't think of a single one saying otherwise. These aren't some random unproven names either. These are seasoned analysts with solid reputations and track records. When they all start aligning like this, they're usually right. Next up, I want to highlight a post from Credible Crypto, another chart analyst I keep a close eye on. He recently pointed out a key level to watch for Bitcoin, right around the $112,000 mark. It's nothing to panic about, but it is an important support zone to hold. Someone reached out to him with a question, referencing SynQuote, and asked, since there haven't been any clear signs of a trend reversal yet, does it look like we might see some sideways movement or a minor pullback over the next month or two? Similar to what we saw in August and September last year, Credible Crypto responded and essentially confirmed, yes, more sideways action is likely. He didn't go too deep in the post, but mentioned he plans to break it all down further. In an upcoming YouTube video, and you can bet I'll be watching that as soon as he drops it. What's interesting is that this outlook aligns with what he said just a few days ago. It leaves room for the possibility that we've already hit the bottom, which is encouraging. But really, the takeaway here is about confidence. Some analysts feel more strongly about it than others. And honestly, a lot of the sentiment I'm seeing right now from analysts could be summed up as a coin toss. Now, that might sound uncertain, but it's actually a totally valid stance. Take Crypto Insight UK, for example. His view lines up with that not sure in the short term, but still bullish long-term perspective. And that makes perfect sense. If the charts aren't showing a strong enough signal, then it's okay, and even smart to say, hey, not enough data right now to call it either way. It doesn't mean the larger bullish structure is broken. I've been saying this for a while now. I genuinely don't know with certainty what's coming next. There's still a decent amount of liquidity sitting just below the recent lows, not just for Bitcoin, but for most altcoins as well. That said, from a structural standpoint, you could make the case that we may have already bottomed. But even in past cycles, every major bottom has often come with either a double tap of the lows or a significant retrace of the initial rally off the bottom. So that's something worth watching closely, especially on the TOTA, which shows the overall crypto market cap. This is exactly the kind of sentiment I keep seeing everywhere. It's not black and white. Are we 100% sure the bottom is in? No, we're not. But is there a strong possibility? Absolutely. And the most important thing, this isn't a moment to be fearful. Regardless of whether we've truly bottomed or need one more small leg down, the bigger picture still looks very bullish. Now, let's take a look at a post from chart analyst Dom, who's analyzing the TOTAL3 chart, which represents the entire crypto market excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. He shared an updated look at a key level we've been tracking for the past couple of weeks. The chart tagged around $930 billion, and we did see some reaction there. According to Dom, this is a critical level of support. Why? Because the market has consistently respected this range for over a year now. If we were to lose this zone, it wouldn't just be a dip. It'd feel like we're moving backward. So yeah, we're at a make-or-break moment here. Now, to be clear, most analysts I'm following aren't calling for some major breakdown from this point. In fact, to help calm some nerves, Credible Crypto shared some perspective that really puts things into context. Paraphrasing here, but he basically said, look, if Bitcoin were to drop below $74,000, that would be the kind of move that breaks the bigger, long-term bullish structure. The kind of move that could imply a real bear market shift. But short of that, we're still well within higher time frame bullish structure. So even if Bitcoin pulls back a bit, that doesn't mean the bull market is over. At the time I'm recording this, Bitcoin is hovering around $114,000, far above that danger zone. So yeah, maybe breathe a little easier tonight. According to analysts like Credible Crypto, there's nothing structurally alarming going on here. Alright, let's check out a post from chart analyst Mustache, and this one's super interesting. He's looking at the Others BTC pair. If you're not familiar, the Others chart tracks the top 125 altcoins by market cap, excluding the top 10. So it gives us a really solid snapshot of how the altcoin market as a whole is performing compared to Bitcoin. And what's clear is that this chart has been consistently declining against BTC for several years now. Mustache points out that what we're seeing is a classic falling wedge pattern. And if you know anything about chart patterns, you know these usually lead to powerful breakouts. He puts it like this, just a friendly reminder, altcoins have been stuck inside this falling wedge for over 4 years. When it finally breaks out, there's no turning back. You're not bullish enough. And honestly, that checks out historically. It makes perfect sense when you consider the big picture. We've seen blow-off tops occur like clockwork every 4 years, all the way back to the post-financial crisis era. That's not random. It's part of a larger macro cycle tied to debt refinancing, as Raul Pal has explained in depth. Shout out to him, because that insight is the only reason I even know about this, and it's why I've been sharing it on this channel. There's zero evidence that this cyclical structure is breaking down. None. This behavior, the long consolidation, the setup in alt BTC ratios, is exactly what you'd expect before a major alt season breakout. We are not done here. The upside move isn't over, and when it is, trust me, I'll be shouting it from the rooftops. But that time isn't now. The best is still ahead. This next post comes from an account run by the co-founders of Glassnode, one of the most respected on-chain analytics firms out there. And I've got to say, I'm a huge fan of their work. Earlier this morning, they posted something short but powerful. We are about to enter the send everything zone. Translation? That means we could be heading into that magical part of the cycle where everything starts pumping. Literally, every chart across the board starts moving up. It's one of those rare moments in the market when it feels like every single investment decision you make turns to gold. It's like, for a short time, everyone becomes a genius investor. You could close your eyes, throw a dart at the market, and whatever you hit is probably going up. But, and this is important, that phase doesn't last forever. Eventually, the music stops. Euphoria peaks, bubbles burst, and reality kicks back in. Still, the signs are pointing to us getting very close to that euphoric everything goes up phase. And yes, that's always a fun ride while it lasts. Let's move on to a fresh update from chart analyst Cryptos from earlier this morning. He pointed out that XRP on the 4-hour chart had pushed back above a key blue resistance level. At the time of his post, XRP was trading around $3.05, and his outlook was clear. As long as price holds above that level, we could be looking at a move up toward $3.14. Now, since then, yes, we've seen a bit of a pullback. But according to Casey Trades, it's not something to stress over. In fact, she sees this as a completely normal and healthy correction, and her take is that we've likely already bottomed. She shared a chart for XRPUSD, and here's what she wrote. XRP is now backtesting the critical $2.96 level, a major support zone that lines up with the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level, both locally and on the macro time frame. That's big. She emphasized that this is a key decision point for the market. This level absolutely needs to hold. Now, does that sound familiar? Remember what Dom said earlier about TOTAL3? Different chart, but the same theme. Why? Because this entire asset class tends to move together. These overlapping signals aren't a coincidence. So again, Casey points out that if XRP can stay above this zone, it would support the idea that this dip is just a standard retracement within a bigger bullish trend. On the flip side, if we start losing this support, it might suggest we need to reevaluate the broader game plan. On top of that, she notes that on lower time frames, the RSI is trying to print a bullish divergence, which could be a sign that buyers are stepping in to defend this zone. Bottom line, $2.96 is the line in the sand. We're hovering right around that area as I speak, and what happens next could be crucial for short to midterm direction. Right now, XRP is sitting at $2.94, which actually marks the lowest point over the past 24 hours. So we're watching closely to see what happens next. Earlier today, specifically at 11:04 a.m., Casey Trades posted that selling pressure appears to be exhausted. At that moment, XRP had dropped to about $2.97, and her take was that there just aren't many sellers left at this stage. It was a subtle but strong signal of confidence, suggesting that a local bottom may have formed. Naturally, someone asked her directly, "Does this mean XRP has bottomed?" Her response, "Yes, we're seeing signs that it has, but there's no confirmation just yet. We need to hold this level and ideally begin breaking above key resistance zones." She's not alone in saying that. Several analysts I followed have been laying out those exact resistance levels, highlighting the importance of working through sell walls stacked just above current price. But again, the big picture takeaway is what really matters. Even if XRP drops slightly lower from here, and sure, that's always a possibility, it does not change the broader bullish outlook. That's the most important thing to keep in mind right now. I get it. What we all want is a straight answer. Are we going to get the explosive blow off top or not? And while no one can say with 100% certainty, the The probabilities heavily lean toward yes, it's still on the table. In fact, I'd argue it's very likely. There's nothing broken about this chart. This kind of volatility is completely normal. I've seen it firsthand ever since I jumped into the crypto space back in November 2017. We're still in it. This is a time to be excited, not scared. And just to be crystal clear, I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing I say is financial advice. I'm just a guy who's passionate about crypto and loves talking about it for fun.